Is anybody up here?
A man is searching his own attic when something terrifying happens.
Hey, is it? Oh my God!
Ryan lives in a house that backs onto national forest in the Appalachian Mountains, and for the first 4 or 5 years on the property, everything was completely normal. Then he started hearing things from his shed, a feeling of being watched whenever he walked near it, strange noises drifting out of the attic space above, the kind of low-level wrongness that wouldn't go away. So Ryan, who posts scary videos under username Poor Just Ryan, set up a camera pointed at the entrance to the attic and let it roll. What he caught on the recording over the next minute is genuinely difficult to dismiss. But the worst of it was still to come. Ryan's first thought was that something had gotten into the attic, but what he heard didn't sound like any animal he could place. The footage didn't stop there. Ryan's interior shed cameras caught something else entirely. The footage continues. And his outdoor cameras picked up something stranger. Then there's the local context. According to Ryan, a story had been circulating in the area for a few days at the time. A 7-year-old boy had reportedly gone missing while playing near a lake with other children.
It was like 4 or 5 kids. They were playing out here, going fishing and everything. And the kid fell in about right here. If you look down at the bottom, you can barely see, but this is only about 3 or 4 feet deep at the maximum.
The boy fell into the water, but the lake was only 3 or 4 feet deep. The other kids jumped in to look for him and couldn't find him. Adults arrived, search boats went out, and the boy was still nowhere.
Jumping in, looking for him and everything, and none of them can find him. It's like he completely vanished. It's like he was wiped off the face of the earth.
4 or 5 days later, the boy was reportedly found alive, over 100 miles from the lake, knocking on a stranger's front door in the middle of the night.
They found this young boy 120 miles away from here on somebody's front porch in the middle of last night asking for help.
Ryan stresses the story is alleged, but he can't shake it.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? I'm glad he's safe, but no one can figure out what the hell just happened.
In this clip, Ryan finally works up the courage to climb into the attic himself. What he filmed up there is the footage we opened with.
Is anybody up here? Oh my God. Is anybody up here?
You can see something moving in the dark.
Hey, is it? Oh my
In this final clip, Ryan decides to fully investigate the area. With the camera still rolling, he searches the space.
Boxes, wood. I mean, this stuff is old, bro. What is this? Rebuild, 2000 what? 2013.
He finds nothing up there. No animal, no person, no nest, no explanation.
I'm going up there. This stuff is old. I mean, from whatever the video sounds like, I don't even know how you can make this much noise up here.
So whatever's living above his shed in the Appalachian woods doesn't seem interested in being found.
Hey, is that? Oh my God!
Here's a quick little life hack before we get back to the creepy footage, and it comes from today's video sponsor, Free Cash. One thing I've added to my daily routine recently is using Free Cash for a few minutes here and there. I'm already on my phone every day playing mobile games anyway, so I might as well make some money while doing it. Free Cash is a platform where you can earn real money by completing offers, playing games, and doing surveys. I picked a game I already liked, played it for a bit, and the earnings started stacking up. And yeah, this is all recorded directly from my phone. They've got a huge user base too, over 60 million users worldwide, a strong Trustpilot rating, and more than 250 million paid out. One thing I really like is how simple the withdrawals are. You can cash out with just $25 on PayPal, crypto, gift cards, and more. There's over 5,000 offers on here, so there's always something new to try. So if you want to try Free Cash, just use my link in the description box down below there, or you can scan that QR code right there, and you'll get a $10 bonus after completing your first offer. I'll also keep you in the loop on how much I earn in the coming weeks as well. But in the meantime, let's get back to the creepy footage.
Right, I'm freaking out a little bit here because I'm not one to believe in ghosts and all that kind of but
Willow Hunter just moved into a new flat with his cat Carrie, and within a day she's acting strange. She'll be sitting next to him on the sofa, then snap her head toward the corridor, jump down and dart over to investigate something he can't see.
when I first moved in, she was sat on the sofa right here and she just kept looking really fast into the corridor and then like just turning back and just acting normal and then just shooting up, like jumping down onto the floor to have a look in the corridor to see what's going on. Nothing going on.
The first night in the new place, she did it again, in bed. Right after she looked, Willow Hunter heard a bang from somewhere in the flat.
And then I went to bed on the same night. She started doing it when I was in the bed with her. And then when she did it, I heard this bang right after she'd looked. And that creeped me out a bit. But now, she's just refusing to go downstairs.
By morning, Carrie is refusing to go downstairs at all. Willow Hunter offers tuna and treats, but she keeps running back upstairs every time he tries to carry her down.
There you go, Corey, there's your food. She did come down for a taste of it earlier, but she came down, had a little bite, and I came down. She just freaked out and ran upstairs. Corey, come on, come back down. It's just straight back upstairs. Not interested in whatever's down here.
Willow Hunter says he's never been into the paranormal, but Carrie isn't his first cat. Her son Moses once let out a single, loud, unnatural meow and died 5 minutes later. Moses had been fit and healthy, with no warning, no illness, and no obvious cause.
Yeah. I was just doing that and she just like did this really weird meow, and it wasn't as scary as when Moses did that, because when he did that meow I knew something was wrong. I went running to him and he was just, well, he died within like 5 minutes. It was horrible, but yeah, I hope nothing like that happens to her. You alright, Corey? You wanna come back down?
Now Carrie has started making the exact same sound.
Hopefully she'll be alright. That was really weird. Well, I didn't catch it on camera, she just came downstairs.
Now here's where things start to get really eerie. Here's some security footage captured at 3 in the morning showing Carrie in the kitchen. The activity didn't stop with the cat. Days later, Willow Hunter heard his kitchen tap turn on by itself at 3 a.m. and pulled up his security camera once more. Then there's the photo. While clearing space on his hard drive, Willow Hunter found a picture taken on the staircase. Carrie is clearly visible at the top of the stairs.
So we've got Corey up there. So that's Corey there. Who the f is that?
At the bottom of the stairs, there's a second cat, and Willow Hunter has no way of explaining its presence.
I only have one cat. I've only got one cat. Corey. I don't have a second cat.
So what's actually going on in this apartment? An otherwise healthy cat dying within minutes, objects moving on their own, and a sinister vibe that seems to be getting worse. Love to hear your theories on this one in the comments below.
Right, so we've got Corey up there. So that's Corey there. Who the f is that?
A woman ran a photo of her dog through an AI filter, expecting it to fill in the empty space around him. Instead, the filter showed her dead mother sitting on the couch beside him. The filter is called Bittersweet Memories, and it's been trending on TikTok. You feed it a photo and the AI generates a wider angle of the same scene, pushing out the frame, filling in the space the camera missed. It's supposed to be a bit of fun. This particular woman snapped a photo of her dog on the couch and ran it through. When the expanded image came back, there was a figure beside the dog who hadn't been there. A woman sitting on the couch, not just any woman, but one who looked exactly like her late mother. She posted side-by-side comparisons with photos of her mum from when she was alive. The hair, the posture, the face, all consistent with someone who'd been gone for some time. The first instinct was that the AI had glitched and generated a random figure, but the resemblance was too specific. It was as though her mother had been sitting on that couch the whole time, just out of frame. The reaction in the comments split. Some viewers found the image comforting, a digital glimpse of someone they could no longer hold. Others were less convinced. Several pointed out that the figure looked subtly wrong, distorted in a way they couldn't articulate. A number suggested it wasn't her mother at all, but something more sinister, a demonic entity wearing the face of a loved one to draw her in. If the figure is her mother, the AI is doing something it shouldn't be able to do. If it isn't, something has been sitting on her couch all along, and now it has a face.
This tree, I know this tree well. This thing, that thing is not real.
It's not in any of his childhood photos. It doesn't appear on Google Maps satellite view, and the man who lives there says it's getting closer to his house every day.
I feel like it's been getting closer to me. I went out there the other night and measured it 377 feet away from me. I measured it this morning, 345 feet away from me, and the is getting closer. It's getting closer to me.
The man behind the now viral moving tree saga is TikTok user Sorry to Your Father, a New Jersey local whose pinned videos have racked up tens of millions of views. He spotted a tree near his property that he was certain hadn't always been there and decided to measure it.
I already measured the distance from the porch to the fence. Here we go, exact spot, and we're gonna walk it out. Same exact line as yesterday. Going to measure by foot, and then do the math in inches, and then we'll figure out how many feet away it is.
The first reading clocked the tree at 377 feet from his porch. The next morning, he measured again and got 345 feet. By the following day, it had crept to 339, then 337. Then, in a twist nobody saw coming, it actually moved 3 inches the other way.
This is absolutely wild. Just measured it 3 feet 5 fucking inches. It moved away 3 inches.
He's verified the measurements multiple ways. Tape measure, yarn from the exact same spot. even a rock left on the ground to make sure the yarn wasn't lying to him. His audience has affectionately nicknamed the tree Treebird, and they tune in daily for new readings.
I mean, at this point, I'm genuinely freaked out and questioning life and what's real and what's not. There is no way, man. There's no way. I knew it. Fake ass tree, dude.
According to the uploader, no birds ever land on or near it. He claims he sat and watched the tree for 2.5 hours straight and didn't see a single one approach.
I also haven't seen one bird land on this tree. I've been staring at it for about 2.5 hours. Not one bird.
Then things take a genuinely odd turn. In one of his follow-up videos, he tells his audience he received a phone call that morning. Someone, he says, told him to stop filming the tree.
I do have to say that I did receive a phone call this morning, and I was told that I need to stop filming this tree, which makes it even weirder.
Skeptics are calling the whole saga an elaborate bit. His TikTok bio reads, "I'm definitely not supposed to be here and I have no idea what I'm doing," which has done little to settle the debate. Others have pointed out that the tree was probably always there, his measurements drift slightly each time, and the Google Maps gap is just an outdated satellite image. But none of those explanations account for the phone call.
And honestly, I've been getting some calls. I had someone show up at my house, and this is just really getting out of fucking hand at this point. They've been telling me that I need to stop filming this tree. And honestly, it's getting to the point now where I'm genuinely freaked the fuck out.
Every morning, Treebird is still showing up out his window, and every morning, this dude is still measuring it.
Look at this. Look at this. Treebird, what the fuck is going on? You used to be in front of this tree. Now you're behind this tree.
Dustin Lee Frazier has spent years filming scary videos inside abandoned buildings deep in the Appalachian Mountains, and he's seen most of what those woods have to offer. This was the house that finally made him leave.
Ooh, I don't like that. Should I go get my REM pod? And then we can, ask questions?
Property is near Wytherville, Virginia, and looks like it hasn't been lived in for years.
I think I'm just trying to freak myself out. Okay.
Dustin's moving through it when something can be heard tapping from inside the walls.
What the? Okay.
He decides to run a spirit box session, asking if anything's in the house with him.
I'll do it like that, I guess.
Then, while he's focused on the box, his camera catches something behind him.
If there is anyone here who would like to communicate with us, who would like to communicate with us, who would like to communicate with us.
And from somewhere further off in the building, he hears something else. Dustin's clearly rattled. He mentions that local hiking trails in the area have been closed by authorities in recent days, and wonders aloud whether a bear has gotten into the property.
There's something over there.
Then he hears something on the roof above him.
Head north.
God damn it.
That's enough for Dustin, and he leaves the property in a hurry. black bear sheltering in an abandoned structure could explain the growl and the rooftop sounds. Black bears are common in the Appalachians, and an empty building is a natural place for one to hole up. The knocking could be pipes or thermal expansion in old timber. The shadow could be his own torch passing across the wall. But the combination, the knocking, the shadow, the growl, the scraping above his head, was enough to drive someone with years of experience straight out the door. In a 1980s photograph from a remote Texas cemetery, an old man stands beside a tombstone for a portrait. Behind the stone, half hidden, something else is in the frame. The man visible in the photo is the photographer's great-grandfather. 3 family members visited the cemetery that afternoon, and they were the only people there. The great-grandfather, the user's father who took the picture, and an uncle who was somewhere off-frame at the time. But peeking out from behind the tombstone is the fabric of a spring dress, a patch of pink where there shouldn't be anything at all. That's strange in itself because the photograph was taken during winter. The grass is dead, the trees are bare, and the great-grandfather is wearing a jacket. Whoever's behind the gravestone isn't dressed for the weather. According to the Reddit user, the family never noticed the figure when the photo was taken. None of the 3 men saw anyone else at the cemetery that day. It was only decades later, going through the family album, that the dress in the corner of the frame was spotted. The user admits someone could have been forgotten over the years, a distant relative, a friend who tagged along, somebody never mentioned again. But every adult who would have remembered is gone now, and there's no record of a 4th person. The great-grandfather was the only person in front of the camera that afternoon, but he wasn't the only thing in the photograph.
Oh my God.
Bill is talking to his livestream audience from a patch of forest with a reputation for paranormal activity when the comments start telling him to turn around.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Dead rock.
Did you see something behind me? What the fuck? What was that?
Bill, who goes by Shat Myself Paranormal on TikTok, runs a channel dedicated to live streaming from famously haunted locations, and he's built a loyal following doing it. On this night, he's broadcasting alone from somewhere dark and quiet, talking through what's around him. It appears in the frame for a split second before he notices.
Oh my God. Oh my God, what the fuck?
Dead rock.
Did you see something behind me? What the fuck? What was that?
When Bill finally looks, there's nothing there. Just the same dark, quiet forest he's been describing for the last few minutes.
What the f was that cut? They said cut. Did I just see a face behind me?
Because the broadcast was live, the footage wasn't spliced together after the fact. What viewers saw played out in real time, on every screen tuned into the stream, which makes it harder to dismiss as a video trick.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Dead rock.
Did you see something behind me? What the fuck? What was that?
The students at Fort Simcoe Job Corps were cleaning the gym when they heard someone screaming from the music room. They ran toward the sound and found a fellow student bolting out of the room in tears, holding his phone. He'd been alone in the music room trying to take a photo of his new shoes for Instagram. When he looked at what he'd captured, there was something in the frame that shouldn't have been there. In the top corner of the frame, there's the figure of a young boy. The student is adamant he was alone in the room, no one else was there, and the door had been closed. The scary photo was submitted to us directly on our Slapped Ham subreddit by a user who's since changed their handle to ProperStomach9620. He'd arrived with the others when the screaming started and says his mind is telling him what the figure is, but he doesn't want to believe it. Fort Simcoe wasn't always a Job Corps campus. The site was established as a military fort in the 1850s, before being converted into a Native American boarding school. the kind of institution where thousands of children were taken from their families, abused, and in many documented cases, never made it home. Whatever appeared in the corner of that photograph chose a building where children once lived and didn't survive. The student didn't go back to take a second one. An abandoned hospital shuttered for more than 10 years, and on the night this man pointed his camera at it from a neighboring building, one of the rooms on the upper floor was lit.
Güey, pasó algo, pero eso no es un humano, güey. ¿Qué pedo con esto?
He focuses on the lit room, trying to work out who could possibly be inside a building that's supposed to be empty.
Verga, no mames. ¿Qué pedo, güey?
A figure moves across the room, pale, partially transparent, drifting from one side of the window to the other before disappearing out of frame.
Verga, no mames.
The hospital is in Tlatelolco, a neighborhood in central Mexico City. It closed over a decade ago, and there's no record of squatters, no construction crew, no reason for anyone to be inside the building at all. Skeptics have argued the figure is a trick of light, a reflection from another window, or an artifact of the camera's autofocus catching a smudge on the glass. But none of those explain the room being lit. Reflections don't generate their own illumination, and whatever the figure was, it was moving inside a space that had no power, no occupants, and no reason to glow at all.
Verga, no mames. ¿Qué pedo, güey?
Archie and his wife walk through St. Leo Cemetery in Leominster, Massachusetts every day. On June 23, 2023, their pug started barking at something they couldn't see. There was no one else in the cemetery, no groundskeeper, no flowers being planted, nobody visiting a grave. Just Archie, his wife, the dog, and whatever the dog could sense. They walked through a crossroads in the path, and the pug abruptly stopped barking by the time they reached a particular tree. Archie was still talking to the dog when a set of wind chimes hanging from one of the gravestones got slapped, hard enough that Archie says he could tell, by the way it moved, that something physical had struck it. There hadn't been a breath of wind through the cemetery all afternoon. That night, Archie, who posts on YouTube as Terraful Sight, went back to the cemetery with a trail camera, and this is what he caught. Skeptics could argue a draft caught the wind chimes, that animals or insects could have set them off, that the pug was reacting to a small mammal in the underbrush. All of those would be reasonable enough on their own. But the chimes were struck the way someone strikes them, directly, deliberately. The dog had been barking at the same spot before they started, and whatever Archie filmed when he went back later in the night was waiting for him in the dark. The cemetery had been empty when his pug started barking. It wasn't empty when Archie came back at night. Here are your paranormal headlines in This Week in Weird. Out of southern Nevada, USGS recorded 17 earthquakes inside 24 hours about 80 miles from Las Vegas, just east of Area 51. Strongest hit magnitude 4.4 at a notably shallow depth, around 2.5 miles down. Geophysicist Stephen Burns flagged the cluster on X as, quote, an unusual place to get an earthquake. Geological consensus is natural swarm activity tied to the Basin and Range province. Nevada's crust is slowly pulling itself apart, and these clusters happen. The timing is the harder part. The swarm peaked the same day Trump told reporters at the White House that the Pentagon had found very interesting UFO documents and that the first releases are coming soon. Reddit went straight to underground tests, secret tunnels, hidden reactors. The geologists are unbothered. The internet, less so. Probably nothing. Probably. And speaking of the disclosure pressure cooker, a televangelist is now claiming the government is briefing pastors to get ready for it. On April 27th, Cleveland, Tennessee evangelist Perry Stone uploaded a YouTube video saying a friend of his sat in on a closed meeting where US officials briefed pastors to prepare their congregations for the public disclosure of non-human craft, materials not from this earth, and, quote, very strange reptilian-looking creatures. Stone wasn't in the room himself. But Bishop Alan DiDio of Revival Nation Church jumped on X on May 5th and posted, "I was in this meeting and it's absolutely true." Joseph Zed and Tony Merkel echoed the account, naming an Airbnb in the mountains of Tennessee as the venue, roughly half a dozen Christian leaders in attendance. None of the officials named, no state confirmed, no transcript. Whatever you make of the source, the timing, right as Trump's promised UFO file drop, is doing its own narrative work. From religious disclosure briefings to a retired Army sergeant on Fox News with a Bigfoot story he's been telling for 33 years. This week on Fox and Friends First, retired Army Staff Sergeant Todd Nice recounted a 1993 military exercise in the Oregon Coast Range, where he and 3 other soldiers, handling live high explosives no less, say they watched 3 large hair-covered bipedal figures observe them from across a clearing for 25 seconds. Nice now runs the American Primate Conservancy, the non-profit he founded in 2015. He used to be a skeptic. 25 seconds is what changed him. He also flagged Ohio, currently ranked 4th in the country for Bigfoot sightings on the BFRO list, with a fresh cluster of reports in the wooded corridor between Akron and Youngstown this March. An Army sergeant with live explosives is a hard one to ride off.
Exposed to three of these creatures observing our exercises, and those 25 seconds changed the entire course of my life.
From a clearing in the Pacific Northwest to one of the most famous haunted houses in America. In Rhode Island Superior Court on April 29th, Judge Shannon Signore dismissed the lawsuit Elizabeth Greenhold filed last December to block the sale of the Conjuring House, the 18th century Burrellville farmhouse where the Perron family lived in the 1970s. The case Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated, the source material for the 2013 movie. Greenhalgh argued her sister, Jacqueline Nunez, lacked the capacity to sell the property to Ghost Hunters star Jason Hawes for $1.3 million. The judge ruled Greenhalgh didn't have standing. Dismissal was without prejudice. Greenhalgh's still seeking guardianship of her sister in Boston probate court, and there's a tangled mortgage situation behind the scenes involving Elton Castee, who tried to buy the house himself. So Hawes isn't the owner yet. Closer than ever, but not quite there. From Rhode Island to a village in western Kenya where a different kind of dread just turned up at the door. In Kenyenya, in Kenya's Kisii County, Damaris Joel says a hen appeared outside her home with its beak removed and a handwritten note tied beneath its wing. The note listed members of her family by name, each with a predicted date of death, written in red ink. Joel called her pastor and put the hen back where she found it. The next morning, another hen turned up in the same spot. Another note under its wing. She suspects witchcraft. According to the local Kenyan outlet Tuko, this isn't the first such incident at her home. The pastor told her whoever placed the hen would come back for it. The family's still waiting. One last thing before we kick back to the countdown. Our second channel, Slapped Ham Mysteries, has rebranded. New name, new tempo. It's now called Creepy and Cozy. Chilled, laid-back, eerie stories built for sleep listening. I'll be narrating historical paranormal cases, freaky encounters, and the kind of spooky true crime that creeps up on you slowly. Same slapped ham DNA, slower BPM, links in the description if it's your thing. That's your weekly pile of weird. Back to the countdown. In May of 1973, 2 children exploring a quiet meadow on England's Isle of Wight claimed they encountered something extraordinary. Not a ghost, not quite a person, and certainly nothing they had ever seen before. According to their account, they came face to face with a 7-foot-tall figure dressed in bright colours, who introduced himself simply as All Colours Sam. The aunt and her friends couldn't find the cemetery. They'd hiked up an overgrown road on a Virginia mountainside looking for the headstones of an old family burial ground, and after hours of searching, they turned back. None of them had seen another person on the mountain that day. When she got the photos developed, there was someone in the frame. A young girl stands in the dense brush, half obscured by tangled branches and dry stalks, looking directly at the camera. She wasn't there when the photo was taken. The aunt is sure of it. The image was posted to Reddit's Paranormal forum by user Damien Querty, who says his aunt has had the photo in her possession for the past 20 years. The story behind it is one she's told the same way every time. They hiked up looking for headstones near Standardsville, Virginia, didn't find the cemetery and didn't see the girl while they were there. The photo was taken on film and developed at a chemist, not on a phone, not editable with a swipe. Around the same time, the aunt asked a Ouija board who the girl in the picture was. The board spelled out a name and an age, Teresa Collier, 8 years old. Skeptics would point out that Ouija boards are notoriously unreliable, often producing names that can't be verified, and that the figure in the photo could simply be a hiker the aunt's group encountered but didn't register at the time. But the family swears they were alone on the mountain, and the figure in the photo isn't an adult. She's an 8-year-old girl standing in the brush of a cemetery that nobody could find. The drawer in this woman's hospital office has been taped shut for a reason, and the scary video shows what it does. The hospital where she works was renovated years ago, but the floor she works on used to be the pediatric ward. In the 1980s, a young boy died there of appendicitis. Her daughter, who posts on Reddit as Aspects21, says the boy hasn't left. He plays with electronics in the office, hits the code blue button in one specific room, and once shook a box of cupcakes off the floor. Lately, he's been opening this drawer no matter how many times she tries to seal it shut. She's not the only one who's noticed. Patients have reported a young boy running through their rooms at night, peering through their windows. Several of them mention something painted on his face. Skeptics could argue the drawer mechanism is faulty and the patient reports are exactly the kind of thing you'd expect from people on heavy medication. But the patient descriptions are consistent. The same boy, the same age, the same painted face. None of them have spoken to each other and none of them know about the 1980s death.
You guys are here now, right?
Wynn says the activity in his house has been getting stronger since his cat died. He's been hearing things in the basement.
Hello? Ever since our cat passed away, things have kind of been picking up. I'm not going back there.
He goes down to investigate, camera in hand.
Hello?
Then something else happens.
Who are you? Get the hell out of here. Jeez. Dude. Stop.
The clip was posted to Instagram by Wynn McPix, who's been documenting activity in his home for years. He says the cat had always seemed to keep whatever was here in check. Skeptics could argue that the chair was set rocking by Wynn's footsteps and that the ball came from off camera or had been hidden by the angle the whole time. Both of those would be reasonable on their own. But Wynn was nowhere near the chair when it started moving, and the ball wasn't on the basement floor a moment before. He'd just been filming that exact spot. His cat is gone and the basement is getting more and more unsettling.
Damn it. Who are you? Get the hell out of here. Jeez. Dude.
Before we get to that #1 spot, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we drop our scary and mysterious videos. He didn't notice it while he was filming, he only saw it later going back through the footage. Earlier that night, he'd heard noises in his house. He grabbed his phone, walked through the rooms and recorded everything he could see, bracing for whatever was making the noise. The scary video was posted on Instagram by Samp_Allen0418. The man hadn't been looking at the chair while he was filming. He'd been looking at the rest of the room, panning past furniture, scanning for whatever had made the noise. The camera caught what he wasn't looking for. Now remember to check out Free Cash if you want to earn some money while playing mobile video games. Just use my link in the description box down below there or scan that QR code right there and you'll get a $10 bonus after completing your first offer. Well, that's it. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you can't get enough of the scary videos, then check out those 2 links there for more. Leave us some comments down below or smash that thumbs up button. It really helps us out in the algorithm. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.